So, you've got diabetes. Can you win? Good morning. My name is Susan, and welcome to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your subscription. In this video, I will be discussing why dietary change will not be enough to reverse your type 2 diabetes, and for some type 1s, it may not be enough to gain complete control. Disclaimer, I am not a doctor. I am just sharing with you how I reversed my type 2 diabetes. If you are on insulin or any medication to control your blood sugar, please consult with your doctor as needed, as lowering your carbs and sugar intake, as well as fasting, will result in lower blood sugars and a need to reduce your medication. All right, now that I got the disclaimer out of the way, did you know that studies show that up to 85% of American adults may have insulin resistance? And why do you think that is? It couldn't possibly be the foods that we're eating or the amount of food that we eat and how many times we eat, could it? Well, I don't know. We eat breakfast, then snack, lunch, then snack. Then we have dinner, and then we have a snack again. Remember, every time we put food in our mouth or we drink anything with flavor, we have an insulin response. And so our bodies get filled to excess with insulin, and our cells become resistant to it. Just like when you overtake an antibiotic, your body can become resistant to its effects on you. The same with insulin. We have too much insulin going on, our cells become resistant, and we become a type 2 diabetic. Type 1s, a lot of type 1s get into the mentality of, oh, well, I can eat whatever I want. I'll just inject more insulin. And then they effectively will become both type 1 and type 2. Okay, and that's why I said that, some type 1s may need to implement a little bit of fasting to help reduce that resistance so that they can gain better control. All right. Well, if you're wondering if you have insulin resistance, let me just tell you this. If you're type 2, you have insulin resistance. But if you're not yet a diabetic, you may be wondering if you are insulin resistant. And here is a list of a test that you can give yourself to determine if you are or not. And this list actually comes from the book that I'm currently reading, Why We Get Sick, by Dr. Benjamin Bigman. And for the most part, I knew about these telltale signs, but number 8 for men, I didn't realize that. So that was an interesting little tidbit that I've learned. But anyways, ask yourself this. Do you have fat around your belly? If you do, you're insulin resistant. Do you have high blood pressure? If you do, you have insulin resistance. Do you have a family history of heart disease? If you do, you probably have insulin resistance. Do you have high levels of triglycerides? And for those of you who do not know what a triglyceride is, you can find that in your lipid panel. That is your cholesterol panel on your blood work. If it's above 100, you probably got insulin resistance. If it's above 150, you definitely have insulin resistance. Do you retain water easily? You probably have insulin resistance. Do you have patches of darker colored skin or little bumps of skin that we call it skin tags on your neck, your armpits, or other areas of your body? You have insulin resistance. Do you have a family member with insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes? You probably have insulin resistance. Women, do you have PCOS? That is polycystic ovarian syndrome. For men, erectile dysfunction. You probably have insulin resistance. Now, guys, you don't have to have all 8 of these. If you have just one of these, you have insulin resistance. And let me implore you, if you're not yet diabetic and you've said yes to any of these, you still should implement these steps because it will help you lower that resistance and prevent you from becoming diabetic. All right. But this is why fasting is so important. And it is the key that will give you the victory over diabetes. If you have your foundation laid out, and that is to say, if you've been following the first two steps, properly checking your blood sugar and doing so regularly, and you've also lowered or even removed your carb and sugar intake, then you've got that foundation that you can stand on to give the final blow to diabetes with fasting. All right. But first, we need to understand what fasting is. Fasting is not a starvation tool. We're not here to starve ourselves. Okay. What we are doing is giving our bodies a time to rest. Give your pancreas a break and let it use the insulin that's already in your body. Okay. And in doing so, our cells will become more receptive to the insulin that we have. Okay. All right. Today, I mostly eat just one meal a day. Sometimes I'll have two, and I do it mindlessly. And that means, it's not a struggle to make it to that one meal a day mark. That's because I'm very fat adapted now. And so you will be too. I can't tell you how long it will take you to become fat adapted. And what that means, by the way, is that your body will use fat for energy instead of carbs. And fat and protein is very satiating. If you're listening to your hunger cues and not just eating out of boredom, you will find that in time, doing a one meal a day is not hard to do at all. All right. So here are the steps to beginning fasting. Number one, and I would say that this is probably the most important step of them all, so please pay close attention. Talk with your doctor. If you are on insulin or any medication for diabetes, always involve your doctor, because I will tell you, as you lower your carb and sugar intake, and as you're fasting, your need for your medication will change. Okay. Because remember, your prescription is based on your current diet of carbs and sugar. So removing your carbs and sugar and including fasting, it's going to change the amount that you need. I am not able to tell you when to reduce or how much to reduce or when to even stop taking your medication. I'm not qualified for that. Okay. So you need to involve your doctor so your doctor can help monitor that for you. And guys, make sure that you're monitoring that, because you can give yourself a hypo if you overdose yourself with medicine. Okay. All right. So number two, it's time to cut out the snacks. Guys, your snacking days are over. You can still do your 3 meals a day for now. First, we'll just start with removing the snacks. And you'll do this, I don't know, give yourself a couple of weeks with this until you get a little bit more used to not having the snacks. Because let me tell you, I think if you just jump right into 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day, you're going to be miserable and you won't be able to maintain it. And that's what we don't want. We're looking for a sustainability, consistency. Okay. So start with just taking out the snacks. All right. And do that for, I don't know, a couple of weeks. And then once you've gotten adjusted to that, then you're going to transition on into making yourself have 2 meals a day, but you'll do it slowly. So if you're used to having your breakfast time meal at 8 a.m., then start having it at 9 a.m. instead of 8. And do that for maybe a week. And then move it to 10 a.m. And then do that for about a week. And then move it to 11 a.m. And then do that for about a week. And then finally, you'll get to a point where you will no longer be having breakfast. You'll be having lunch. And then you'll just have lunch and dinner. Okay? So that's 2 meals a day, which is a great place to be. And some of you may not feel the need to move past that, and that's fine. You don't have to do 1 meal a day. I did transition to 1 meal a day. Okay. And if you do want to try that, then give yourself some time with 2 meals a day first. Let your body adjust, because you know what, your body is going through a lot of changing at this point. And yes, we want to get your diabetes under control and or even reversed, but let's do so in a healthy way. Okay. And do it slowly. All right. So once you've given yourself a few weeks at least with 2 meals a day, then if you want to transition into a 1 meal a day, you'll do it the same way you did from going from 3 meals to 2 meals. You'll take your lunchtime and you'll push it further back until finally it meets with your dinner time and you're only having 1 meal a day. Or you can take your dinner time and bring it back until it meets with your lunchtime and you're only having lunch for your 1 meal a day. You can decide when you have your 1 meal. Okay. I personally find that eating around 1 or 2 and no later than that is good for me. And in a later video, I'm going to talk more about the importance of eating to your body's hunger and not to a clock. But right now, let's not focus on that. Let's just focus on getting into that fasting and getting your diabetes under control and or reversed. Okay. All right. So once you're doing these steps, I want you to go back to number 1. With each step, repeat number 1. Consult your doctor. Make sure you don't need a reduction in your medicine. Okay. Now, as your doctor reduces your medication, that is a good thing. Because if you are having your medication reduced, it means your diabetes is getting better. You're getting control of it. And some of you will even eventually come off your medication. That's what we're wanting. And you're going to get there. But consistency is the key. And this is why I urge you to go into this process slowly rather than just jumping on in. Okay. Because we need consistency. And if you jump on in, you may find that this is too hard to do right out the gate. You may give up. And that's what I don't want to happen. Don't give up on your health. Okay. You can win this fight. All right. You may have to dig deep at the start of it to find that why to keep you going. And it's got to be more than just, oh, weight loss. You know, you got a life and you can live it. And you can get rid of that diabetes or have great control over it. You've got to remain consistent though. And I'm here to cheer you on with that. Okay. I'm proud of you if you are watching this video and you haven't yet started. But if you're watching this video, that's got to mean that you're interested and you're wanting to do something about it. And let me encourage you, don't delay. Get started. You won't regret it. All right. Well, in the next video, I want to address the difference in ketosis versus ketoacidosis. That is a hot topic in the ketogenic community amongst diabetics. And there's a lot of people who are scared of it. And I want to address why you should not be scared and when it can be dangerous. Okay. So that'll be in the next video. Until then, thank you so much. Bye-bye.